Raxter, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts, Woodward.
Welcome to Woodward Wings Free Agent Frenzy Edition. I am Justin, and I am joined with Spencer, Raxter, and Flannel Sam for a live episode today, as we were hoping for a free agent masterclass, and I would say so far we have gotten a free agent disaster class on our hands, fellas. Let's just start with there are literally zero.
There's nobody left.
Free agents.
There's literally nobody left. Like, you want to get Brent Burns? I mean, that would probably follow the path that we're on, signing another 40-year-old man. I'm really trying really hard not to crash out. I'm gonna take this down right now. We're not gonna be seeing that for a little while. We need something to happen. Obviously, trades can still happen, so that's why I'm not fully crashing out. But James Van Riemsdyk cannot be the crown jewel of your free agency. And I have people telling me, hey, what was it? Second line of DeBrincat, Danielson, and Patrick Kane.
Yes.
That's going to help the Red Wings get in the playoffs. Yeah, you get in the playoffs, and then you throw those three up against Rodriguez, Bennett, and Tkachuk. That's awesome. We're not making the playoffs. That's your second line. Red Wings got to do something. They really, really need to do something. I'm kind of freaking out, not going to lie.
I am also freaking out, Flannel. You just woke up from a nap to also see the remaining free agents be gone off the board. How are you feeling after waking up and just seeing the nothing burger that we've gotten so far?
It was a small nap, so like I was in touch most of the day. Just need a little power nap before the show. But yeah, I'm looking at who's available in free agency. I mean, Nikolai Ehlers, somebody I like, is still available. Nothing really when it comes to
But at the end of the day, that's a guy who hasn't put together a full season in 4 years. Like, we're talking about a market that is so depleted now.
No, I am fully aware of that. I suppose what we were talking about on Wake Up Woodward earlier, trading for Keandre Miller, trading for Brian Rust.
Still on the table.
And that would make me still happy. But
Jesus Christ, am I getting worried? I'm sweating right now.
Absolutely.
Not a good sweating. Not a, hey, I just had a lot of fun sweating. Not a, hey, I just popped a Molly, I'm sweating. No, it's a, hey, if Steve Yzerman doesn't do something legitimate to improve this roster in the offseason, I'm going to harm myself sweating. Like, this has got to happen. And I know that the trades are still there. You could still go get Keandre Miller. You could still get Brian Rust. Maybe you can make a big trade for a Robo or, God forbid, somebody with a pulse. I don't know. But they're sitting on a lot of cap space right now. I feel I have to tell myself that this isn't the only things that are going to happen, that they're going to make a move, that there's no way they just did all this for no reason. But I'm getting a little impatient. I know it's overreaction time because there's still plenty of time left for them to make a move. And they're going to make a move. I know, I have to believe in my heart of hearts that they're going to make a move. So we'll wait for that to happen. But right now, see you later, Columbus. See you later, New York.
No, I mean, that's... I said earlier today, too, that, yeah, no, Spenny, you're 100% right in that. There are certain teams that the Red Wings absolutely have to be better than, and it's a non-negotiable. And I'm kind of worried that we might be – I mean, I don't want to fear-monger because it's obviously not –
I'm fear-mongering.
Hey,
I'm scared.
And I'm scared as well. Who are the Red Wings realistically going to be better than in the East next year as of right now? Buffalo?
Seriously, I was just looking.
Maybe Buffalo.
I was
Maybe
just looking
Buffalo.
up and down the rosters, and like the Devils added depth on top of getting Jack Hughes
they're
back.
going to be better.
Yeah.
Like 91 points next year, you can lock them up for 94 plus. Like they are in the playoffs. You want to talk about the Islanders as well. The Islanders have continued to bring in what they have issues with. They had issues with second line scoring, and what do? They bring in Drew, and they bring in. I forget the other name, but they are bringing in guys, and then Schaefer's going to plug in probably first year as a second-line defenseman because he's that good of a prospect. We are looking at teams just going, meow. Like, it is honestly, like,
You got to get better at that. You're not good at that.
I do. I'm not
You're
good
the one that drives all the sports cars.
meow. How was that?
That was pretty good.
All right. We're getting somewhere. Unlike the Red Wings, though. The Red Wings are getting nowhere.
Yeah.
And thank God 2 hours ago, they got 2 hours ago the freaking Hurricanes trade.
I'm not gonna freak out. But I'm kind of losing my fucking mind, and I'm gonna be a danger to myself if the Red Wings really don't do something. Like this is. Woosah.
It's okay. It is okay. Because
there's still a lot of things that can happen.
DeAndre Miller is still on the table.
Yes.
That trade has apparently fallen through with Carolina. There would have been some movement if
We're
that
back.
trade. So we are still hopefully in those conversations, but they need to be ramping up. You need to be willing to give up more. Like, you need to outbid Carolina. If you give Carolina DeAndre Miller, you are giving them relevancy for another 5 years. They're about to lose two 35, 37-year-old defensemen to free agency in Burns and Orlov, and you're just going to give them a replacement for them for the next 5 years if you do that. You have to be thinking about what you're taking away from teams when you beat them in a trade.
I'm okay. There are still guys on the board. There are still things that can happen. There are still things that need to happen. But I swear to God, if we walk out of free agency with James Van Riemsdyk as our prized possession, I'm going to jump off a bridge. I think that this... I saw someone say, like, hey, James Van Riemsdyk, that's a good option. Yeah, on your fourth line... We don't need any more fourth liners. We have too many of them.
A million of them.
Patrick Kane. If Patrick Kane is in your top six next year, you're not making the playoffs.
No,
he cannot. When they got Patrick Kane back, I was happy because they got rid of Tarasenko, and I was like, okay, Patrick Kane can play the role of Tarasenko last year. He can be the third line guy. He can get power play minutes, but he's not gonna mortgage your team. He needs to be that. He cannot be a top six forward on this team if we want to make the playoffs. And Justin Hall cannot be in the state of Michigan next year if we want to be a serious team. That is just flat out. If I see Justin Hall in a Red Wings jersey next year, I don't know what I'll do.
No, and I think what's disappointing, too, is that it actually started off with some promise. We've talked about it. I like the John Gibson trade. I loved dumping... Vladimir Tarasenko to the Minnesota Wild. I thought that was a
great trade.
Absolutely. A team that actually, I wouldn't say needed Vladimir Tarasenko, but they needed goals, and they didn't have to retain any salary. Patrick Kane won. We've talked about it. Base, fine. Incentives, some of them are too easy to hit. It could end up being a little bit too expensive, but after that...
Incentives are going to blow this franchise's dick off. Holy shit.
There are...
It's not gonna matter when we don't make the playoffs.
I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
You might as well throw the money at them.
No, there are so
Get your
many
500th
holes.
goal in Detroit, Kane, because that really matters to people.
There are so many
matters
holes
more
on
than
this
making the
team.
damn playoffs to these people. I swear.
So many, and I don't see too many avenues right now to fill everything that the Red Wings need.
And I know I see it in the chat from Brett Play Game. Trades, my guy. Trades, free agency isn't everything. I know, and I'm aware of that. They have handcuffed themselves now where they need to make multiple impact trades.
Yes.
It's different when you're hoping, okay, maybe we can trade for this guy after we sign a free agent here or there. Right now they need to make multiple impact trades or they're not going to make the playoffs next year.
You're looking at you need two impact trades, a top 6 forward and a top 4 defenseman.
Yeah.
Like, you are looking to facilitate two moves that are arguably have to be better than the Blue Jackets free agency, the Canadiens free agency and trades. Like, we're talking about teams that have already made these types of moves where they only needed to reinforce. You need the moves to reinforce, and that's where we're kind of getting passed up right now. And so, like, a couple of people in chat, we got people, boys, I kind of like Orlov. It would be a nice fit. I mean, if you're trying to sign someone to a low-term deal that is going to be a bridge deal where you're going to overpay the shit out of him, sure. But at the end of the day, Orlov doesn't move the needle for me. Like what does Orlov necessarily do other than for a year?
Doesn't get you in the playoffs.
No, he's not someone who's going to flip the culture of this decor. And sorry, Spencer, you got me on the comment.
It's just what I heard in the streets.
But, then we're talking about guys on Twitter, and not to go back to this, we're talking about them salivating over Danielson as their second-line center when he's shown no ability. Like, straight up. Like, he has shown no ability that he can be a second-line center in the NHL. He hasn't even shown the ability to be a second-line center in the AHL. So how are we going to expect hitting a rookie parlay, as Neil so much likes to say, a rookie parlay on Danielson and Casper playing wing on the first line, not playing center.
I want Casper playing center.
He looked way better.
Way better at
Yes.
center.
Casper as the second line center with some reinforcements, we were excited about that possibility. And it could still happen. It's not over or anything, but man,
Now you got to force it to happen.
You got to force it to happen. There's too many teams that have, zew. I probably did the worst one of all of us.
It's all right. It was your first one.
It's my first one, probably the first of a many today. The amount of names that are available, all of the ones that we were the most excited about, not all of them, but most of them are gone. It's just, as of right now, and on July 1st at 4:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's been a very underwhelming offseason for the Red Wings, to say the least, when they have so much cap space and some very, very obvious deficiencies that anybody could see. I know Steve Yzerman's got to see them. Maybe he does. Maybe he thinks he can fill them with the people who have been drafted and developed. No, absolutely not.
Like I said, I know that I'm freaking out right now. And I know that this team is not going to go into the next season with James Van Riemsdyk being their best piece. They're going to make deals. They have the cap space. They have prospects that people would want. They have tradable assets on their team right now. They're going to get somebody. But like you said, now they are forced to do that. Now they are forced to make trades where other GMs have to agree with that. So sorry if this feels a little reminiscent of let's put all of our eggs in the Trouba basket, and then oh shit, his wife said no, and so we'll sign Gustafsson. I mean,
I think that you have to be willing to go out for Keandre Miller, and you have to be willing to pay a king's ransom for him, because at this point, you are now hoping. Honestly, you need ASP to come in and be the Calder winner. Straight up. Like, that is how this decor is looking. This decor is so bad.
It's pretty bad.
That you are putting pressure on ASP to come in here and win the Calder.
I liked re-signing Albert Johansson.
I did too.
When he's your third pairing guy. Albert Johansson cannot be in your top 4 next year if you're serious about making the playoffs. No. He showed good signs of progression, but you need to get somebody better to put ahead of him.
And I love this argument. I will take this argument all day, Bradley Wagley. You might as well lob me up a softball. Danielson had more points than Casper in the AHL. It's a lot more than about points when it comes to the AHL, because Casper learned how to play center and play defense, and you see that every single time he's in an NHL game. He is not overmatched defensively. There is nothing that told me in that playoff stretch that showed me that Danielson can play legitimate NHL defense right now.
No.
There is nothing that showed me that he can be a legitimate crunch time scorer.
Danielson didn't look like a top 3 forward on the Grand Rapids Griffins in their playoff stretch.
Nope.
And younger guys did. MBN looked better.
MBN put on
Lombardi looked
15
better.
pounds this offseason, and I think is going to challenge to make this roster if it stays like this, because this
I mean,
roster
he's not going to have to challenge. If it stays like this, he's not going to have to challenge. They'll just be like, okay, yeah, you made it. You got a pulse and you're not 50 years old. Go ahead, kid.
At this point, yeah.
They're going to make, but like I said, yeah, Ehlers is still out there. If that's where they decide to go, if Keandre Miller is what they decide to do, I would love that. You need to get a top 4D and a top 6 forward.
And just when it comes to the offense, and obviously the defense is more pressing, but one thing about getting a top 6 is that you make like let's just say, for example, I know Justin wouldn't be too excited. The Red Wings do sign Nikolai Ehlers, or they trade for Brian Rust. It makes the James Van Riemsdyk signing make a little bit of sense, because I do believe he has value as maybe a third or fourth liner.
He does. Yeah, he does.
He can score 5-on-5 on a third or fourth line.
Yes.
But as of right now, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, which makes me think that there's something more up Steve Yzerman's sleeve. But the point we're trying to make is there's not a whole lot out there. I mean, Jason Robertson splash, I suppose, is out there. A Brian Rust trade is out there. Nikolai Ehlers is out there. It's not like they have no options, but
Lions fan 222 says Brent Burns is available, but he's 40. Yeah, if they sign Brent Burns, we're going to need some more handicap parking at LCA because that would be 3 guys who signed over 36 years old.
yeah.
Yzerman is lost. I mean, there are people who
No, like
Here, let me put a chapel out there about the confidence of the Yzer.
the trades have been good. Trading Tarasenko was a very good move that he cleaned up for his own mistake. Sean said it was fixing a mistake. I said, yeah, it was his shit, but he picked up his own shit. So I'll give him a little bit of credit for that. Turning Joe Veleno into John Gibson is a very good move.
The Gibson move.
I really wanted to see a free agent here that was worth a shit and was not, no disrespect to James Van Riemsdyk, but again, I'm not getting hype about fourth line forwards
Or AHL guys.
or AHL guys.
Why are we spending so much time signing AHL guys? Like, seriously, I'm not going to lie. Because at the end of the day, like, let's talk about who they signed. All right, James Van Riemsdyk, I think we can all go across the board for $1 million if he scores 15 goals next year.
It is a fine contract.
It will be a fine contract, and no one is going to be up in arms about
No.
Yep.
That cannot be the Bella de Ball, though.
it. No.
Nobody's taking James Van Riemsdyk to Sizzler. Like, we
And
need a stud bad, dude.
We signed Jacob Bernard Docker 1 year, $875K. I mean, it's all right. I mean, everyone's like, oh, he's better than Petrie. Well, I mean, Petrie just went.
No shit. He's better than Petrie. And Petrie's going to win a fucking Stanley Cup before the Red Wings get to the playoffs.
He is. And because he went to Florida, and they're going to win. And that's their, like. But then Ian Mitchell, like, it's another nothing burger. Like those are guys who will be the 7th D on this roster.
Yeah.
Like they're already like 26. Like, yeah,
It
it's
seems
a flyer.
Seems like more Gustafsson and Hall signings.
I was gonna say, are they better than Petrie? I'm serious. I know. I'm not even trying to be.
I'm
prick or
going to start
anything.
crying. You're going to see me literally cry.
They're nothings of sightings. With respect, I'm sure they have families that don't need us to commit a murder against them right now.
No.
A vocal one, of course.
No,
But
I'm not trying. Yeah, I'm not trying to disrespect these guys, but I'm not getting excited. James Van Riemsdyk, he's been a good player in the league for a long time. He would be a fine fourth liner.
yeah,
I need more than that. This team is not a James Van Riemsdyk away from making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Far from it.
Ooh, seems like Florida is looking to move on Rodriguez. Move off Rodriguez.
Again, that would be cool.
But that requires giving up assets, which we probably won't do.
but yeah, that would move the needle.
Spencer's about to die over here, dude. I'm only laughing through my pain right now. This literally sucks.
Maybe Berggren is enticing
All right, and
for
here's
Florida.
Yep, Johnny Burgers, baby.
Florida doesn't want picks, so they're.
Ed.
Can I interest you in Gustafsson to pair with Dan Petrie or Jeff Petrie? Maybe Florida can. If anybody can make it work, it's the fucking Panthers, because they couldn't work here.
About to say the way
Rodriguez would be nice. What are we gonna give Florida that they would rather have than Rodriguez? He would be the second best forward on our team right now.
Oh, this is so depressing, dude. This is so brutal. The staff at Woodward Sports nor the chat line will decide the fate of Yzerman. We're not saying we are.
No one's deciding that Steve Yzerman's not going anywhere, people. So that's you gotta get that through your fucking skulls. Like, he's not going anywhere. That's why it kills me even more, because we're just stuck. And we're just here. Like, it's not like, even if we walked out of there and Steve Yzerman said, I'm cashing out the $14 million we got and I'm putting it in my own pocket, they'd be like, okay, that's fine. You're still here. Whenever you want to leave, it's on you. So, like, yeah, we can criticize the deal. We know he's not going anywhere. Trust me, you don't got to tell us that. This is, okay, I'm all right. I got to reel it back in. Got to reel it back in. There are still trades. They're going to make moves. They're going to make moves. They have to make moves. They have holes. They have money. It's going to happen. Tank for McKenna at this point, says Jay Stevens. Hey, if he becomes a Spartan dog. Oh, man.
No, and even and the fact that Steve Yzerman is Teflon and safe, that's not going to prevent me from absolutely calling for his head if the Red Wings have a regression or there's no direction next year and they don't make the playoffs. I can say whatever I want.
Yeah, you can.
It doesn't matter what happens. I think there should be pressure. And obviously there isn't. He's a man who knows he's safe.
He is safe.
But at the end of the day, I'm going to apply as much pressure as this pulpit allows me. If, again, still not dead, not the offseason is a far from over, but if there's a regression, if there's no direction, if the Red Wings don't make the playoffs, if all three of those things happen in concert with each other, then why wouldn't we be calling for Steve Yzerman's head?
And that's fair. I can't sit here and criticize you saying that, but we were asked by chat.
Soderblom was offered a contract. I don't know if he signed it yet.
He did not sign it, but I would assume it would be around what Jonathan Bergeron made.
It's going to be pretty much the same thing.
He is better than Bergeron.
Is he? Are any of these guys better than the other ones, or are they all just the same thing? Because I think we just got a lot of guys that really aren't that good. And I think we're putting out half of our team
soda bomb
that really isn't that good. And this team next year, again, okay, unless moves be made. Right now, this team on paper is old, slow, and weak.
Yes.
So
we were asked how much
we need some moves to be
cap
made,
space
and I
we
think
have
they will.
left is we have $14.5 million in cap space. You could you just take away
still
2.
Trade for McDavid.
Take away 2 for Soderblom probably, and we're probably left with $12 million for the rest of free agency. So we asked that could be enough for a Keandre Miller extension to pay Brian Rust his salary. Honestly, to do both. So there is room to maneuver still.
Would you be happy with Brian Rust and Keandre Miller?
At this point, yes.
At this point, yeah. At this point, I'd be happy with somebody hitting me over the head with a fucking frying pan. I'd be happy with that at this point. But yes, not even at this point. Just in general. If I told you, after we kind of gave away the facade of Mitch Marner, if I told you it was going to be Keandre Miller and Brian Rust, would you have been happy?
And John Gibson.
And John Gibson, yes.
Yes, I would have been happy.
Okay.
I would probably a B+.
Okay.
Can't be an A, but it's definitely.
So would you say the check engine light just came on and we're cruising?
Yeah.
Hopefully in a couple miles it turns off and we can speed up again.
Yes. I think that we are falling back a little, but with chance to propel forward.
No, to me that would save the offseason. Because, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but something like that
Something's got to happen.
Would have saved the offseason. Because to me, it was my minimum acceptability if you include John Gibson. Because, and I said it on a Wake Up Woodward earlier, I think that a Brian Rust, especially with his ability to play the PK, a Keandre Miller, a two-way defenseman, John Gibson, who's an upgrade at goaltender, and I'll just stick with Keandre Miller and Brian Rust. I think those would have the potential to be like the Tommy Kahnle, Glaber Torres type of acquisitions, except the Red Wings version. A little under the radar, not like the big splash, pretty friendly in terms of contracts, but fill a need on this Red Wings team that they need to fill. They would be very, very valuable and could really... Like, the PK was so bad.
So bad.
And
that's why, like James Van Riemsdyk doesn't play on the PK.
Yeah, he doesn't play in the PK.
No.
You'd think as a fourth liner he'd play in the PK.
No.
Does not.
And as a big guy.
Literally.
And as somebody that the Red Wings were targeting in free agency, apparently, you'd think they want to improve the worst penalty kill almost in the history of the NHL.
Yeah. You need a top 6 forward. You need a top 4 defenseman. And my goodness, do you need help on the PK?
We're getting lots of questions about Ehlers. Ehlers has not signed yet. I guess that is the prize of the forward class at the moment, is Ehlers. Personally, I'm not a huge fan, considering that he doesn't do anything that you have issues with, but he does add scoring to your top 6, which you do need.
He adds 5-on-5 scoring.
5-on-5 scoring,
yes, he adds 5-on-5 scoring, but he can't stay healthy.
Can't stay healthy.
He hasn't had a
Doesn't
full
play the
season
PK.
in 4 years. Doesn't play the PK.
Small guy.
not physical. Like it's at the end of the day, it can't be picky.
I would much rather have Brian Rust than Nikolai Ehlers.
I agree, especially at his contract. Ehlers is going to fetch at this point, as well as the depleted free agent market. He's going to use that to his advantage. He's probably going to get at least 9 from whoever offered. Like I could totally see Utah giving Ehlers 9, and I would rather pay Russ $5.5 million for 2 years.
Oh, Brian Rust. If the Red Wings could get that done, that would be an absolute steal. An absolute steal. And I'd be happy. Yeah, there's a...
Should I go stand in the... Oh.
No,
What?
I don't know. That's pretty crazy. But, okay, so... Should I stand in the background? That'd be really funny. I heard it that time. Okay, so...
Yes.
I would literally...
There is a hole in their top 6 that Ehlers would fill, but at the end of the day, like, does Ehlers bring you to the next level?
No.
Does Ehlers make you a playoff competing in a playoff series? He does not.
Ehlers does not improve your deficiencies required to make the playoffs. He would give you scoring, sure. Like, yeah, that's awesome. I don't...
Ice for Michigan. It is not the same guys on the PK last year to the year before. We lost Perron. We lost... Who else played in the PK? We lost the...
Well, Kopp was hurt a lot of the season.
Kopp was hurt a lot of the season this year, so you didn't have Perron. You lost Kopp for half the season.
Yeah.
There are some truths to that, but at the same time, they still are deficient there. They need people who can play the PK.
Yeah, I don't understand how Rasmussen can't do that.
I don't do me either. I mean, hopefully Mazur can
Soderblom?
slot in there this year.
Mazur should get a spot in there.
Mazur should definitely be on the PK this year.
Yeah, absolutely. That would help.
We also have been asked for a projected lineup, so start thinking about that as we answer this question.
Okay, yeah. What do you think it would take to give up Ehlers? Rust. I would say what? Berggren, second round pick.
That should probably get it done.
You can get that. Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat. A Berggren, a second round pick next year or 2 years, or because did we lose our second for next year or the one in 2 years?
2 years.
Okay, yeah, I'd give our second round pick
2027.
next year and Berggren for Brian Rust right now.
Oh, 100%. I would do more than that.
I would pay more than that.
I mean, if you had to, of course. I would
Well,
absolutely
throw in a fourth or throw in a fifth or something like
you
that.
have to.
Yeah.
maybe even a player better than Berggren.
Yeah,
or more highly regarded.
I'd be
who are you
willing.
thinking?
I mean, maybe you could give the corpse of Wallander.
No way, dude. Wallander is not better than Berggren.
No, he's not, but maybe they think so.
Should have literally kept freaking Gostisbehere and Wallman.
Nope.
Gostisbehere and Wallman would not help the penalty K or the PK or the defense at all.
We'd still just be as inefficient in every.
They'd
way
have better. They'd have better 5-on-5 scoring.
Yes, you could say that for sure. I would say the big issue was losing Perron.
Perron was huge.
Perron was huge, losing him, and then the fact that you tried to replace Ghost with
Gustafson.
Jesus.
Again, I think they're going to get something done. I think they're
Praying
going to
that
get
every
guys.
time I refresh my phone that.
But like I said, now it's giving me feelings of last year, to where the reports were that he had all his eggs in the Trouba and Stamkos baskets. Neither of them cashed in, so you ended up with Tarasenko and Gustafson.
And
if that happens again, I'll literally freak out.
No, and we didn't even know at the time how big of a disaster that would be.
Yeah.
God, how much
We liked the Tarasenko sign.
Yeah.
I mean, again, that was a throw a bone.
No,
Dude.
And we were wrong. But let me just say this, and we don't have to spend a lot of time on it. Even though I know, Justin, you're not as high on it, and I know that he doesn't fulfill all of the needs, I think Nikolai Ehlers' 5-on-5 scoring, I would still be happy with that.
It depends on the contract.
I'm not saying that I would throw a party or come here and say, like, we're back, but I would still be excited about that, just because their 5-on-5 scoring was their 5-on-5 scoring was bad. It wasn't as bad as the PK, but it was really, really, they were a power play dependent team almost to the max. Nikolai Ehlers is not a power play dependent wing.
No, he's not.
No,
And
he is not.
would help that regard.
Yes.
It's just I do not want to give him long term. Like
I
the
get it.
thing is, the term that he's going to demand is either going to be a great deal for the rest of his career, or it's going to completely hinder the franchise that signs that contract. And that is where I'm not in the group that wants to sign him, and I'd sign our franchise away on Nikolai Ehlers' shoulders.
No.
I would have done it for Mitch Marner. Yeah. I would do it for Jason Robertson. I will not do it for Nikolai Ehlers. I just, straight up, I love Nikolai. My buddy who's a Winnipeg Jets fan loves Nikolai Ehlers, his favorite player. But the fact of the matter is, we were talking, he was like, Ehlers wanted more than Scheifele, and Ehlers wanted more than Hellebuck. And he can get fucked over that number because there's no way in hell I'm straight up. I'm not paying Ehlers more than Larkin.
I'm not paying Ehlers more than Larkin. No way.
Yeah, that's where when you really contextualize that. Bring Brian Rust home.
Brian Rust, that's a move that should be made.
Or Raquel Ricard in the same boat from Pittsburgh. Either way, either one of them, 30-goal guys can really help this team. Yeah, I mean Robertson probably still is a pipe dream, but at the end of the day, Dallas is still making moves.
Klingberg 1 year, $4 million in San Jose.
Yeah. Ehlers would be nice though. He can play with Larkin Raymond. I mean, yeah.
Granlund
the
3x7 to Anaheim.
Granlund? What's it? Anaheim?
Anaheim. I don't know what the fuck the Ducks are doing, dude.
Dude, the Ducks are just blowing my mind. They have no vision.
3 years, $7 million.
Really? AAV?
I think it says 3x7. Yeah. $7 million a year.
Jeez, no wonder the Stars didn't
I don't
want to
know.
retain him.
$3 million. 3 years, $7 million.
It's got to be AAV.
It's got to be.
It's AAV. There's no way he's going for like $2 million. No chance. Why would he go to take that deal with the Ducks too?
Yeah, $7 million AAV. Wow.
Does Illich have Steve's hand tied with acquisition dollars, just trying to make sense of what he misses out on big names? It shouldn't. It's the salary cap league.
It shouldn't be, but
it does.
There were reports that he does. Oh man!
Please, please, for the love of something, please give me.
I can't believe
some news.
Jeff Petrie, dude.
Just the fact that he got to go to Florida. I mean, if Steve Yzerman has his own deficiencies and he's being handcuffed, then the Red Wings are a dumpster fire. If that's actually the case.
This was embarrassing offseason. Yep, so far it is.
So far. Bring Jason Robertson home. Actually bring him home.
This is an embarrassing offseason so far, but it is not over. And that is what I'm saying, so I don't crash out.
Yes, I'm trying to have every ounce of copium inside my body that I can possibly have right now. Try to believe in this team. Try to believe that Yzerman is going to make a move. But just the fact of the matter is, he's shown that he seemed completely disinterested in this free agent class. And he said it outright. And, I understand that some of the free agent class was not the best. But at the same time, not being in on anyone is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Where, free agency opens and your first call is to James Van Riemsdyk and a couple of borderline AHL guys. Is it crazy?
No, and the sad thing is, too, and I mentioned it earlier, if you get James Van Riemsdyk, who has value, there's got to be a top six forward as well. If you told me right now, I hate to sound like a broken record, James Van Riemsdyk and Brian Rust were added just as offensive players, I'd be like, okay, it can't be it. It won't be it. I refuse to believe that it's it.
No, there is no way this can be it.
We lost the Keandre Miller trade.
Wait, what happened?
Oh boy, please tell me.
Please don't.
Who
I
reported
don't think that that's true yet. I don't know if it's happened yet.
All right, well, we will check on that, but I don't think that happened yet. I've been literally scrolling my phone, refreshing it like a mofo, trying to make sure I don't miss anything. And if that happens, we will crash out on there, all of us. Brett Burns, you want to tell him about what you think about Brett Burns?
He's 500 years old.
Yeah.
No, thank you on Brett Burns. We don't need more old, slow players. We already have two guys over 36 in this lineup.
Oh my goodness, almost every.
Actually, yeah, it's 28 minutes ago. Told Keandre Miller deal has yet to go through as he and the Canes continue to work out an extension. So they are currently trying to work out an extension.
God damn it, dude.
That's.
So who's that?
No, dude, I don't even know.
Is there a defenseman you can think of that?
There's
Bowen Byram.
Bowen Byram.
Yeah.
but he's barely a defenseman.
And then 100-year-olds. Seriously. Do you want Mark Edward Vlasic? I can't even joke about that.
Dude, that's what.
Alec Martinez. Like him, but he's 100.
Justin Hall is going to be playing for my team next year.
No, he's not.
Justin Hall is going to be playing for my team next year.
No, he's not.
All right, you want?
And he's not even going to be the 7th defenseman.
You want the mock lineup of the 10th best team in the Eastern Conference?
Justin Hall is going to be an opening day skater for the Red Wings next year.
Yes, he is. As in right now, yes, I believe he is.
He's going to get minutes.
Yeah.
Like double-digit minutes. I literally fucking...
All right, here's the mock lineup.
John Leonard is a nobody. He is an AHL guy.
Larkin, Raymond.
No offense to you, John Leonard.
A body. It could be Berger, it could be Soderblom. Doesn't matter. It's going to be an unprepared body playing in the first.
That's the first line.
Get out of here.
What do you want from me? Danielson, fine. Danielson.
No.
Danielson's on your first
Like, what do you want from me, man?
No.
Second line. Cat, Casper, Kane. Third line.
Hey, Casper and Cat, I like. Kane
Third
can't
line.
be your second line.
Cop, Lombardi, Mazer.
James Van Riemsdyk?
No, JT Copper. JT Copper, Cop, and Lombardi. Your
rather have
fourth
Van
line is Mazer, Soderblom, and Rasmussen.
That sounds like a 80-point team.
That team is so bad. Oh
Or
my
like
God. On defense, we will have Mo Sider playing with Ben Sherratt. Dude, this is so bad.
That's criminal to Mo Sider.
Then we have
Dude, you can't let that happen.
Edmondson with Aljo or Edmondson with ASP. And then you have the bunch of Gustafsson, Hall, and Becker, whatever his name is. I don't even care anymore.
No.
And then we have Gibson
Tim Hardaway
and Talbot.
Jr. signs with the Nuggets.
Is that true?
Yeah,
Cool.
it is.
Good for him. Good for Tim Hardaway Jr. Thanks for what you did. Thanks for the games. Thanks for
When do we blame Eisman
Thanks for not betting
getting
on
guys?
yourself. What?
When do we blame Eisman for not getting guys? Now.
Now.
This is where I think this is a very if this offseason progresses the way it is, I think this is a very agreeable point for everyone to have discourse over the Red Wings.
They need to make 2 impact trades. We need to get out of here pretty soon so we can get ready for heavyweights. But
Yep, I know.
Wallander, yeah. Wallander, where's he gonna play? Third pair? Sure. Yeah, we'll do Wallander instead of Gustafsson or Hall. That's gonna make the playoffs. They gotta make.
God,
a trade.
these. I did forget Van Dreamsdyke, but like that doesn't move the needle. Congrats, Van Dreamsdyke's playing on the third.
Right now, Van Riemsdyk's on the first line.
Yeah, no, for real, he is.
Oh my God.
No,
He is.
You're probably right.
He is.
Absolutely, I'm right. I'm not joking.
Yes.
Right now, James Van Riemsdyk is on
He's
your
the
first
one that
line.
I would trust the most on the first line right now.
Yep.
That shouldn't be the
We're
case.
making the playoffs next year, guys. We got, first line of Larkin, Raymond, and James Van Riemsdyk with it followed up by Patrick Kane, DeBrincat, and Casper.
Dude. He's better than Hall. I don't know if Wallander's better than Hall. I honestly don't know.
No, seriously. You can't say that. You cannot definitively say that. So
Bro.
hopefully this is what I'm gonna hope is gonna happen, and we're gonna end the stream here. We're glad. Thank you for tuning in to crash out with us, but we're gonna hopefully get off air and look like the biggest dumbasses ever.
Yes, because they'll trade for 2
Because they
very
will
good
trade
players.
for 2 impact players, either during heavyweights or after heavyweights, and then tomorrow we'll come in here for our live tomorrow morning, and we will hopefully have a better tune of voice. And honestly, if they make no moves, don't expect another Red Wings live stream emergency episode between Wake Up Woodward and Big D tomorrow.
Yeah, please, for the
Don't
love of
expect
God, Steve Yzerman, do something. You got to trade for somebody.
Please,
you
for
have
the
to.
love of everyone's sanity, Literally every single person in this chat, in this area of Detroit, or in literally the world that's Red Wings fans. Red Wings fans are global. Do it for the boys.
Please.
We can't handle much more.
Please do it for my sanity. I will allegedly harm myself if we have to see Justin Hall on the third pair. If James Van Riemsdyk
Dude, when did the
is
Wings
the ringer
become
we
the
brought in to make the playoffs,
They were comparing the Red Wings to the Caldwell Lions in chat.
the Caldwell Lions. The Red Wings are the Red Wings right now are the Patricia Lions.
Patricia Lions, just that era of
I wish we were the
misery.
Caldwell Lions.
Yeah.
We'd at least be in the playoffs.
Be in the playoffs. At least have a.
We'd be competing for a division.
They'd have a floor, and right now,
Their floor is the worst team in the East.
we're talking about potential disaster.
If we're looking at
Honestly,
our roster right now, and you tell me Buffalo's going to be better than you next year, I know it's Buffalo, so it's not going to happen. But with the players that Buffalo has,
This might be a terrible take, and it's good that we're about to end the episode here because it wouldn't be a bad idea if they tank
Keandre
to
Miller
get a star in the next.
Carolina. No, Justin will tank, and we'll get the 5th pick. I swear to God.
That's so
I
true,
promise you on my unborn child's soul, if the Red Wings tank, they will get the 5th pick of the draft. I know it'll happen because Gary Bettman's a stupid old bitch, and I fucking hate him. This team, dude, I'm not feeling good right now. I'm gonna have to. Steve Yzerman, please, for the love of God, trade for somebody.
If
with
Steve
pulse.
Yzerman takes the Red
Skywalker,
Wings,
Skywalker.
in the tree,
Yeah.
please.
What were you gonna say, Flannel?
if Steve Yzerman takes the Red Wings back into tanking, he's got to go. He's got to go. I can say it. I don't care if it's not going to happen.
Go buy your
I'm still
Justin
gonna
Hall
say it.
jerseys for your kids. But hey, at least we got the vibes of Patrick Kane's kid being friends with DeBrinket's kid. That vibes will be awesome when we're under 70 points. All right, bye. Thanks.
I do think this is real.
Steve,
I think that Keandre Miller is going to Carolina. I think it's pretty much over.
all right, Steve Yzerman, please make some trades. We need talent, or we're gonna be worse than we were last year.
Bo and Byram are bust now. Not a
Brian-
good position to be in.
Bo and Byram are buzzed. I'd rather bust my brains out. All right, see you guys.
See you guys late. Maybe tomorrow.
Hopefully
maybe not.
tomorrow. Hopefully we're talking about Brian Rust, or hopefully we're talking about an amazing trade Steve Yzerman did to get David Pasternak to come to the Lions, so I don't have to literally jump off a bridge. Bye.
All right. See you later.
Dude, this is fucking ridiculous, man. This is a joke. This is literally a joke, and I'm gonna kill myself.